Hello and welcome to your astrological vibrations for Saturday, July 22nd, 2017 by Gaia Blooming. I am Mimi and our energy mantra for today is I go for the joy. And we have the sun shifting into Leo today. The sun will move into Leo at 8:15 a.m. Pacific time. So, very exciting. And every month I don't choose. Spirit helps me choose a theme that we're going to focus on. And Leo is so much about the love energy. But love is not quite going to be the focus because love comes with a lot of various feelings and attachments that we have put on it. And rather, what we are going to be focusing on for this next 30 days of Leo, which is going to be, an intense time as we have eclipse season and 2 new moons in Leo. So what we're going to be focusing on is the energy of joy, because love begets joy and joy begets love. And if we can take our focus into joy and not worry about love. Let love, I have it on my shirt, let love take care of itself, but focus on the joy. Bring in the joy into our lives. I believe we are all capable of a beautiful quantum love shift through this month. So our focus is joy, our energy mantra. I go for the joy. And I actually have a Sanskrit mantra to go with this as well. Om Vardhanam Nama, which means I nourish the universe and the universe nourishes me. And this connects with the heart chakra energy. And when I learned this mantra at a retreat with Deepak Chopra a few years ago, one of the things that this mantra, what they talked about is it's the law of giving and receiving. So it's about like anybody that you encounter, just offer them a smile. Offer them the energy of joy coming to them from yourself. And so remembering this, Om Vardhanam Nama, I nourish the universe and the universe nourishes me. This law of giving and receiving, connecting to the heart and connecting to the energy of joy from there. Again, this will be part of our quantum shift. Now stick with me because I'm going to go through every sign and your lessons for the time of Leo before we end this horoscope. But we have some other matters to attend to besides Leo energy, which we'll get into a little bit more of as we talk about it through all the signs. We still have the moon in Cancer, and this moon in Cancer is finishing up the dark of the moon, and this energy is going out with a bang. And I have to show you the cards that I have. I do have intensity. Here we are, speeding towards the light, the speed of sound, or the speed of light, rather, maybe even intensity. But here we have hard times require furious dancing. We have the celebration card, and this is the 3 of Cups. There is emotion still that we are needing to process to finish up this time. Now, we are going to have, 8 hours of the day in Cancer at that 29 degree. It is going to shift early in the morning. I will probably just be waking up as Leo comes into focus. However, there is still this moon in Cancer, and this moon in Cancer is squaring Jupiter, it's opposing Pluto, and it's squaring Uranus. In fact, moon in Cancer square Uranus is the last aspect that we have, the last connection that we have before the new moon in Leo early on Sunday morning. It's so early that it's actually happening at 0 degrees, which is this transformational degree. So being present for whatever needs to come forth is an important part of this Leo process. Yes, I go for the joy. Let that be your focus. Let that be your energy that you take your bow and arrow and move towards, shoot towards, goal at. I'm making goal a verb. Goal at it. But there may be some feels coming up in and through this. That moon square Jupiter in Libra is reminding us of the energy of self-love and how important that is. And that is important even in and through the energy of finding your joy. Joy is going to come when your cup is overflowing and filled because you're showing up and taking care of your needs. The moon in Cancer is really good at seeing what other people's needs are and wanting to go rush to them and take care of them. But Jupiter in Libra is saying, hey, find this balance in yourself first. It is of the utmost importance to find this balance here first, or you're going to be, I wish I had the stress card. I don't have the stress card, which is probably a good thing that I don't have the stress card. But, trying to pour tea while you're balancing on the ball, holding your monkey and juggling fire, like in that card. So we don't need to do that. We need to find this balance in and of ourselves at first. that moon opposite Pluto. Every single time this comes around, it is this opportunity to rebuild this new foundation, nurturing yourself at its foundation of this new foundation, taking care of yourself, showing up for yourself. What do you need to do for yourself to have a strong foundation? What do you need to do for yourself to be balanced? What do you need to do for yourself to implant this new foundation for yourself, to implant this new structure for yourself? It is of the utmost importance that we do this. Show up. Change the pattern. Leo at 0 degrees energy and this new moon at 0 degrees. 0 degrees is a degree of transformation. So all of this is saying it's time to change this old way we've been doing things and show up in a way that does honor ourselves. Now that final aspect is that moon square Uranus, and Uranus is the liberator. So to me, this is like it's going to shake loose any of that stuff that we're still holding on to that does not allow us to honor ourselves. Interestingly enough, this connection is happening at 28 degrees. 28 degrees is that 10. So again, it's that worth. So we're kind of bookmarking the day with that moon square Jupiter and the moon square Uranus, both having that focus on worth and remembering in order to bring forth your inner child, in order to really be in the joy, you have to know your divinity. You have to know your worth. You have to know the love that's within you. So let's get into this Leo energy and this new moon. I feel like this new moon is such a powerful kickoff to this Leo season, one that's going to include a full moon lunar eclipse in Aquarius, and then another new moon, and then solar eclipse in Leo at the end of Leo time. And like I said, what I feel like the ultimate transmutation is one into love. But we're getting there through the path of joy. Love will not be our focus. And one of the things that really stood out to me, I'm reading a book that I cannot seem to put down. And one of the things that they said in it, and it's something I've heard before, and I really, really agree with this point, is that happy people don't do cruel things. If you're happy, you are not cruel to somebody else. This is why it is of the utmost importance that we find our happiness, that we find our joy. What is joyful to you? That's your quest. That is your quest of fire, through this next month. What is joyful to you? And then let's go for the joy. Let's move into that joy and bring joy back onto this planet, because it is possible and it's important. I love the quote, I think it's from Martin Luther King Jr. I have chosen love because hate is too big a burden to bear. But so many of us, because we haven't chosen joy, we're still choosing discomfort, and there is some hate in that energy. And that's going to be where cruelty and lashing out and those other things come from. So let's keep moving for the joy. I go for the joy. So that being said, let's get into what the lessons for every sign, the lessons for what every sign, I'm debating what the grammar is in my head, what the lessons are for every sign. There we go. For Leo, this is your first house. Now I do want to mention, if your birthday is a little bit later, later in the zodiac period, not in the month, but in the zodiac period, like August 20th or August 21st or 22nd for Leo people, then the previous energy may apply a little bit more to you, or the following energy actually. Like that, later Leo's, I'm tripping over my words. Later Leo energies will be in 12th house until you hit your birthday energy. So listen to the last one too to get a little bit of that 12th house information. But Leos, this is your first house, and joy, love, inner child, creativity, knowing that that is who you are and what you are, that is your birthright. And you, Leo, are at the leading edge this month as we are working your first house in bringing in the joy, bringing through the creativity, reminding people, because you're not afraid to be flamboyant with it, right, Leo? Reminding people that it's okay to be creative. It's okay to be the expressive self. It is okay to fling confetti or glitter or whatever it is, gold leaf, to bring forth your joyful expression. So Leo, this month, I am joyful. Let that be that which kind of tugs you along, pulls you along from your heartstrings into your next level destiny. Because, Leo, this is a next level destiny kind of month with this new moon tomorrow and the eclipse later this month and the North Node hanging out in your sign for the next year and a half. Okay, Cancer, Leo is your second house. Second house is the house of worth. And so this is remembering that you're deserving of having a joyful life. It also, to me, speaks of your high level of creativity. The second house is also a house that speaks of your talents. And so having Leo as your second house, Cancer, means like, hey, you got some creativity to bring forth, to express, to share. And I have seen Cancers in their creative moments. My mom is a Cancer. I have seen her when she is in that moment of music. That's her highest creativity. Or when she's cooking. That's another form of her talent, her creativity. When she's in that, she's of her utmost. She's of herself. So this is the time to note how important your creativity is to yourself and realizing that your creativity does bring joy to others. So stand in that. Let the joy bubble up in you first, and then realize that those love bubbles of your creativity will expand outward to amazing degrees. Okay, Gemini. Gemini, I think this may be one reason why you generally love Leo. Gemini, this is your third house, and the third house is the house of Gemini. So this means this is your time to communicate, Gemini. Now, I do want to mention for Gemini, during this time, we will have Mercury going into its shadow, and so communications may be a little wonky. I am feeling it as I'm trading up my words and speaking gibberish a little bit right now. I am Gemini rising. I am feeling it. However, do not let that stop you from expressing your joy. We all have moments where we're like, blah, 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 kind of like Porky Pig. And that's okay. Keep going. Express and let your expressions bring you joy. Gemini, you guys love to be jokers. You are so witty. This is your time to shine. Don't be afraid to get up on stage and communicate your joy of communication to the world in whatever way your communication may be. Taurus, this is your fourth house, the house of home, foundation, feelings. And so you may be feeling like the king of the castle this month, or the queen of the castle, or the empress even, emperor, empress energy. But this is your time to find that joy in your divinity, Taurus. Taurus, one of your things is always about learning your true inherent worth. And so this is the time to connect your worth with your divinity, with your inherent royalty, with your starness. Feel through it. And, you know, fourth house is a time of feelings. Hopefully these will be, in general, joyful feelings. But if you're feeling anything less than joy, this is a great time to dig in and explore that and maybe pull out any of those weeds that are keeping you from feeling your divine inherent worth and showing up as the royalty that you are. Aries, this is your fifth house. Fifth house is the natural house of Leo. So this just enhances your Leo experience. You may find yourself definitely bringing up inner child energy, being in the play energy, bringing forth your creativity. Romance may be on the horizon for you, Aries, through this month. So really tune into that. But above that, again, like my message for this whole thing, go for the joy, Aries. Aries is never afraid of action. Go for the joy. Keep moving in the direction of your greatest and highest joy. I really believe that when we honor our joy, when we're honoring our heart, because I think when we're honoring joy, we are honoring our heart. I believe that when we do this, we do not take wrong paths. It doesn't mean that things always turn out the way we think that they should, but when you listen to your heart, you do end up where you're meant to go. So it's listening to that deepest place of joy within you and moving from that place. And again, letting that creativity bubble up. There's like an overwhelming theme of creativity this month that's coming up for many of the signs. All right, Pisces, this is your sixth house. Sixth house is the house of your daily reality. Sixth house to me is the house of healing, and it's the house of our daily reality interpreter, our physical body. And so Pisces, you know, we've seen what an effect joy has had on our health. In fact, there is a guy, I think his name is Norman Cousins, maybe? I might be getting his name wrong. I'm not sure. But he was diagnosed with cancer, and he was in the hospital, and he was like, I'm going to make him a king. Bring to me all of the funniest movies in the world, including, you know, the Three Stooges and probably Laurel and Hardy and, you know, all those really old things. And he sat in that hospital bed and he laughed and he laughed and he laughed his way better. And so, Pisces, as we move through this month of Leo, I want you to remember the healing power of joy, the healing power of laughter. And no matter what you may be facing with your physical health, whether it's something like stress or it's something physical, some kind of illness or dis-ease, or even if it's something mental, you know, some mental imbalances that are being challenging for you at this time, can you move towards the joy? Can you find the things that make you smile? Can you find the things that make you laugh? Can you find the things that bring you to appreciation and gratitude? Because I think appreciation and gratitude are steps on our way into the joy. And so this will all help your physical health. And I really think that message is for everybody, because it's not just like only Pisces are going to be dealing with health things this month. You know, like health stuff is always like this. But if you can move in that direction and remember that truth, how our cells respond to love and to joy and to happiness, I do think it'll be part of your steps to getting better. You know, and I also want to say, treat yourself right. Listen to your inner child. A big part of the healing game is also often in connection to the inner child. And so listening to what your inner child may have to say about what's going on for you physically. Aquarius. For you, Aquarius, this is the 7th house, the house of relationships. So this is time to get your relationship on. Now, Aquarius, I want to ask you, in and through this energy, how are your relationships? Are your relationships bringing you joy? And if they're not, is there a way that they can bring you joy? Is there a way you can bring joy to them? Or is this maybe, you know, a time to, with these eclipse energies, because eclipses, you know, bring completion at times, shake up and completion, is it time to wrap up any of these relationships that no longer bring you joy, that are relationships out of, say, obligation? So this is what you're going to be looking at through this month, Aquarius. Again, the mantra, I go for the joy. Let yourself notice the level of joy through your connections, through your relating, in your balance. And of course, the responsibility of joy, I have it here, responsibility. The responsibility of joy is first and foremost to the relationship that you have with yourself. You can't blame somebody else for not bringing you joy if you are not first and foremost bringing yourself joy. But from that place of finding that balance, joy within yourself, when you're relating with others, notice, do they keep heightening your joy, or is it something that sucks you down? And if it does suck you down, there may be ways to work with this. I'm not saying immediately get rid of it, but this is something to notice and see. How can this shift? Be creative with this energy. Ask your inner child to help support this too, you know, as you figure out these relationships. However, I do think there's going to be some shift for you in and through relationship at this time. And that's happening on a few different levels in the chart, by the way, Aquarius, but I do feel like there's going to be some shift for you regarding this. Find that joy in yourself first, though. That's where it starts. Capricorn, this is your 8th house, the 8th house of transformation, ultimately empowerment, empowerment through the choice of joy. And of course, the 8th house has many topics. What's popping in my head? Sex, death, and rock and roll. Instead of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. 8th house is such an interesting place. 8th house is where we dive into the depths. It is the house of Scorpio. However, there is joy available to us in diving in through the depths. I think one of the biggest joys available to us is the joy of being vulnerable when it comes to that with which we love. And so this is your month, Capricorn, to tune into the energy of that which you love. I'm giving myself tongue twisters to say. Tune into that energy, show up for that energy, and offer your vulnerability to that with which you love. Again, starting with yourself. Our power, our empowerment, our transformation is always in and through us. But I do think this is a powerful time, Capricorn, to really admit your true feelings. Admit your true feelings of love. And I think also, Capricorn, you guys are notorious for being serious, coming into the world seriously, very serious. But this is your month, Capricorn, where you can play. I give you the responsibility of play. One of the things about Capricorn is that they say that you guys come in very, very serious and then get more and more playful as time goes on. This is a call to bring your vulnerability to the spirit of play. It may feel vulnerable for Capricorn to let themselves play in that way, but that's going to be empowering for you because all of us do have an inner child. So this is your chance, Capricorn. Show up in that way. It may feel a little uncomfortable at first, but you know, you have the fortitude. You have the fortitude to climb the steepest slopes and also to step into the vulnerability of play, the vulnerability of the inner child. Sagittarius, this is your 9th house. So the 9th house is the house of Sagittarius. So Leo time is a call to adventure, a call to let your inner child play and figure out what is exciting and new in the world. 9th house is a time of expanding horizons. And I believe you are going to be expanding your horizon through embracing that energy of joy, going for the joy, taking your bow and arrow, Sagittarius, and shooting the joy. I'm going to post a meme. I found it when I was looking the other day, and it was basically like, all you need for happiness is a choice to choose your feelings and a bow and arrow. And I was like, wow, Sagittarius must have made that quote up. But I think that's really going to be our method this month. Take your bow and arrow, Sagittarius. Aim for the joy, shoot that arrow, and then run after it. Through the adventure, into the adventure, expanding horizons, and see what comes. I think that is Sagittarius' greatest joy for this next month. Scorpio, this is your 10th house. The 10th house is the house of your purpose, your destiny, and having Leo at the helm of your 10th house. My. You know, wow, that is like, it is my job to be here and be royalty. It is my job to be here and be divine love in action. So that is what I'm giving you as your task through this month, Scorpio, is how you can show up in your purpose, in your job, in your career, in your legacy, being this energy of divine love. How empowering is that, Scorpio? I think that's a pretty tall task, but I think if there's anybody who's up for it, I think it is Scorpio energy. I think that part of this, though, too, is not neglecting the energy of your inner child. You know, Scorpio, sometimes you can get so focused and so intent on what you're doing that sometimes you leave behind that joyfulness of the inner child. The joyfulness of the inner child is so important in helping get you, rise you into your purpose, into your legacy. Do not forget that playfulness. Do not forget the joy. Do not forget to bring along the light of the sun as you move into this energy, because that is really going to support you and help you as you move deeper, greater into your purpose. And this is such a time for you, Scorpio, being that we have all this energy. You know, this is a time over this next, year and a half with the North Node in here, and over this time with these eclipses, you are going to be finding changes happening in your career. There will be miracles. I'm sending that out to my Scorpios out there. I love you, and I promise there will be miracles. Don't stop believing, and let your inner child, the visions that come. Let your inner child, I just had a vision of, kind of be put on a leash, your adult self being put on a leash and being taken by your inner child into the joy, into your purpose, into your direction and destiny. So your inner child's got this, Scorpio. Libra. Oh my gosh, Libra, this is your 11th house, and a very specific message came through for me, for you, Libra. 11th house is an interesting place. 11th house is the house of Aquarius. It is the house of humanitarian work. It is the house of friendship, community. It is also, to me, the house of the divine mind, or the collective consciousness. And Libra, I feel like over this next month, you are going to be very sensitive to, very tuned into the collective consciousness. So Libra is always trying to find the balance. This may be a time of a little bit of imbalance as you feel the collective consciousness, and yet you keep aiming for the joy to bring your level of joy to feed into the collective consciousness. Be really present and aware of what your personal energy is that you are bringing to the collective consciousness, even as you are tuning in and feeling these energies. Now, again, this is going to be an interesting month for you as an 11th house, because we have Aquarius, or not Aquarius, Uranus, which rules Aquarius, going retrograde. And so consciousness, the electrical impulses, the nervous system is going to get a little bit stirred up in and through this. Do not let that stirring up make you choose anything less than joy. Keep going for the joy, Libra. I think you guys, Libra, is going to be on the leading edge for bringing in this joy energy on another level through this next month. Big responsibility, but I really feel it. And that's why you've got Jupiter. You have Jupiter in your sign, which is having you expand upon this foundation, this balancing, centered place of working your self-love. That's going to be key as you go for the joy and as you hold container, you hold space for collective consciousness in this energy of joy over this next month. Wow, Libra. Like, that was a very serious message, but it feels back to your job. Virgo, this is your 12th house. Virgo and anybody at, the later side of Leo, until you reach your birthday, we have 12th house energy. 12th house energy is an energy of surrender. I do have the guidance card in my cards that I have here, and I do think this is for Virgo and for those later in Leo. Trusting your inner guidance, trusting your intuition. Again, keep that, it's like seeing the word joy golden through a haze of fog. Keep your focus on that joy energy even as you're guided, but let yourself go with the flow. There's no need to push yourself so hard through this month. Keep allowing yourself to drift like a leaf on the river. Let yourself drift into that joyful energy. Set your intention for that and let yourself drift in that direction. 12th house can be a challenging time, but I don't feel like it has to be so challenging for you, Virgo, if you can surrender. I know that's not the easiest thing for a Virgo to do, because Virgo's like, I have it under control, I have all the things balanced. You do not have to. All you have to do is float. So this is your time to float. This is also a time where psychic energy can come through loud and clear. So be listening, Virgo, and later Libras later Leos, for any messages that come through. So that's all 12 signs having gone through. I want to finish up with my cards. So not every day, but as we go through Leo, I'm going to pull cat cards because cats know the essence that we want. And I pulled play, of course, Pippa of the Dream Circus. Some kitties come straight out of imagination to remind us to play. Here's to a moment of dancing, twinkling toes, and laughter. Where most only see empty air, Pippa sees colorful tweeting birds doing a tantalizing minuet and errant butterflies playing peekaboo, urging her to chase. To play is to do something for the pure joy of it doing it. It is a frolicking mix of experimentation, curiosity, and absurdity. That sounds like a divine mixture to me. Where can you let more Pippa's playful spirit and lighthearted air into your work, into your life? Let's see. I showed you. I have the responsibility card here. You are aware of the power of your thoughts and the amount of love you express. Remember this, your responsibility. You are responsible for your joy. And then through Leo time, I'm going to be using the 13 Moon Oracle cards. The reason I'm going to be using these, and by the way, I'm sorry this is long, but lots of information, is because I love Mayan astrology. I do not talk Mayan astrology too much because I know more about Western astrology. I don't know enough to be like, I know everything and I shall tell you. But during Leo time, we are going to have a day out of time, which is basically like my New Year. It's when we start the next cycle. And I was like, oh, I'm going to use these cards, these 13 moon cards to bring in this cycle. And I love what I pulled to kick off Leo and to finish up this moon in Cancer. I pulled Transcend, the frequency of violet, compassion, forgiveness, clear your awareness, sensitize. And what I think of with this, it has the Sri Yantra on there, by the way, I think of the violet flame. And I think as we finish up this Cancer, as we go through these energies and we blaze into Leo so that we can shine like suns, this is a good time to call on the energy of violet fire to come in, transmute, and shift out any of these old energies that need to be let go of. My computer just got tired. I've never had my computer get tired when I've recorded a video. Anyways, so they also say in this card, compassion. And I think compassion, we said, what did I say before? Joy is a stepping stone to love. I forget what the other things I said was a stepping stone, but compassion is another stepping stone, first and foremost for ourselves. So calling in the violet flame, calling in the compassion energy of violet flame to help us shift, clear, release any of these old energies as we go through the dark of the moon, as we move into new moon energy, so that we can begin again, so that we can shine big and bright. Have compassion for yourselves, but have compassion for others. Like I said, we're finishing this up, and even though we're in Leo, this moon in Cancer is making this day, like, finish up this dark of the moon lessons. So, oh my gosh, I've never done one this long. That is it for today. Love you guys. Go for the joy. Book a reading if you want to dive deeper into your own personal chart, and I will see you tomorrow. Namaste.